Hey, welcome back. We have a couple boxes here, and I'll explain why in just a minute. This here is the knife, and this one is an accessory for that knife, so let's get into it. All right. Oops. This one is from EKnives. Actually, I think maybe the first one I bought from them. Seemed to be a good shipping experience and everything. Whoops, missed some tape here. Do love the action on the Demco, man. Just a real use. Like, this is funny. These guys are making some jokes here, apparently. EKnives got the funnies. See if there's a note in here also. Hello, Dan. Thank you for supporting EKnives. Our family really appreciates you, and we hope you love your slicer. Have a knife day, Misty. All right, I like that little personal touch. And there it is. So we'll give them a little credit for that one. We'll leave the jokes up and around here. Let's get into it. And there's a little background on why I got this particular knife. But it is a Hinderer, and it is a little one, and it is battle blue. So I'm not a big fan of this stock configuration. It's not bad, but it's not exactly what I would do from a scale perspective. But if you notice, this is a non-flipper. I do have one little 3-inch slicer, but it's not a non-flipper. It's a no choil also. So I was thinking the choil would actually be kind of nice on this, and then having the, like, I'd love it to be fullered, but I don't think they've done a 3-inch fullered non-flipper. I think they've only done fullered flipper so far. So hopefully at some point, I think it's DLT does the fullered version. They have like an exclusive maybe. Keep me honest in the comments. But anyways, hopefully at some point we'll see that. In the meantime, I was thinking this would make kind of a better all-around model. You can see 3-inch slicer, non-flipper, tri-way battle blue with the translucent green. And then let's pull out the next box here. Okay. And we're going to get into this because I've now got this trip where I can't buy a Hinderer without a plan to make it a full-tie Hinderer. And guess who had that available? DLT Trading happened to have a drop of the battle blue scales. So nice packaging by DLT here, by the way. And yeah, there it is. And these cost, I'll just sort of flash this up on the screen, an extra $200. So you're really spending $600 when you're getting into a knife like this, which is a lot of money. But very nice to, you know, you can always sell the scale. The funny thing about the Hinderer market is the scales are almost either harder to get and or as in demand as the knives themselves. And this is what we're going to make. We're going to turn this into a pretty sweet working finish non-flipper battle blue. Just I'm excited about this one, and I'll tell you what's got me building this up, which is that it's going to have a bigger brother over here, the fullered non-flipper 3.5 that I bought. Now this one's M390, which is sweet. I believe this would be 20 CV, right? Yeah, these newer ones are mostly 20 CV. But this should be a really nice little upgrade. So I think you have to undo these screws to do it. But let's make this match. I think this is the goal here. So we might as well just do this really quickly and turn it into the knife that I wanted. So if you're not interested in seeing the work on the knife happen, then this would be the time which you can bail out of this video. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and by the way, the action right out of box feels good. With the Hinderer, you always have to remember to keep your pointer finger up on the pivot to avoid lock bar pressure. But pretty good. It's not exactly drop shut. This is a much lighter blade than the bigger one. You can see how drop shut this one is. Crazy drop shut. It's really a much thinner, lighter, shorter blade. But it feels pretty good. So let's see if once we switch this scale out, if maybe it becomes fully drop shut. And I don't have the Hinderer tool, so I usually just put my finger on the back here and it tends to work as long as I can get past the initial break. then this tends to work just fine. Really good Loctite on this one, I'm noticing. I should probably be using, someone recommended something else for this instead of a screwdriver, but I can't remember what they recommended. Probably couldn't hurt to be a little safer and use something to make sure you're not going to scratch either the scale or the pivot hardware or whatever. So let's get this. I was going to go to my finger here, but it's still, I can maybe get it out. As soon as I can get off of my screwdriver, I'm going to do that to avoid potentially damaging the knife. All right, there we go. And then I'll get into it. Bear with me 1 second. Just need to send a quick note here. All right, boom, boom, boom. Pull over the tools, and these should be, I think, is it T8? T6? Darn. Okay, T6. And this one does feel like it's going to require, where is it? My full tool here. The tolerances on these Hinderer hardware is really tight, by the way. It's one of those things that I've learned is these are very, like as the things go in and out of things, they're just very tight. Like the way that this screw fits into the scale and stuff. It's just a little different than what I've seen on a lot of knives. This is what I hate about T6, by the way. Very easy to strip them out. Maybe it's a crazy question. It's not a T7, right? Just to make sure, just so I'm not, yeah, okay. Just based on how tight that felt. Thought maybe I was losing it, but that first one was just a little tight, so I think the T6 got a little caught up in there. So what we're gonna try and do is get this apart without everything falling apart on me. If I do it right, that will be successful, but it's pretty hard. It's very likely that these things will slip around and stuff, so man, these things are really getting stuck on my hardware. I think I need to maybe use a different T6. This one's getting caught up on here. Oh boy. Bear with me 1 sec. I need to tighten that one back in. Oh, the hardware already fell out of there, just like I was saying. Get that back in. Huh. Looks like I bent it trying to pull it out of there too. So I'm probably gonna have to get a new screw here. So that's unfortunate. You saw it here first. Probably not the most hard to get and or expensive thing from Hinderer, luckily, but not ideal. Okay, hopefully, gosh, that thing is just crazy how I'm gonna go get a different driver for taking it out on this next round here. All right. Hopefully these are in better shape. There's my T6. It's pretty crazy. I thought that one was in pretty good shape too, so. This is why our industry hates when the manufacturers use freaking T6 hardware. It is just not strong enough for what we're doing here, if we're being honest. I don't know if it's not strong enough, it's just too small. If you can avoid it in any way, it's like, please, please do. Okay, so this is gonna start falling apart here. Darn it, I was hoping everything would kind of stay together, but then this got caught on there again. Man, freaking Hinderer. Looks like we're gonna be doing some work here, folks. So maybe the screw's not bent. Maybe it's just that the screwdriver is getting wonky in there. I think that's what it is. I don't think the screw is actually getting bent, so that's good. There we go. Really goes to show that you want high quality tools. I've kind of bought these more cheap ones, but I'm about to go upgrade all my stuff to make sure that doesn't happen anymore. Not worth it. All right, so what's cool, the factory one does have, you know, a tie liner, and then this sits on it, so I'll throw those back in the bag that this scale came in. Keep those, of course. I don't, you know, some people sell those off. I highly recommend just keeping them and swapping them back when you go to sell your knife, or at least including them or whatever. But let's see if we can figure out how to get this back together in the least time possible, but also the right way, of course. So I need to get these on here. And we're going to need this guy, stand the hardware over here. Sorry, I just realized I'm off screen here entirely. So trying to get the over travel stop. That's not what I'm looking for. That's not the right word. Stop pin in there. Oops, lost it again. Just hard, the way the gravity works on everything with your Hinderer. I guess what you do is probably hold it like this, because everything starts falling out. If you're either leaning it one way or the other, stuff's falling out. It's really annoying to try and work on. I've talked about that in another video. Oops, almost had it. Okay, let's try again. Got to keep everything really upright. Got to push that in against the lock bar, and then try and sandwich this on here all at once. I think we got it. And now get a screw in somewhere to pull it all together, which I would say would probably be the pivot screw. Would be ideal. Oh. Yeah, got it. Okay, cool. Boom, pivot screw goes in. And I should be able to do some of the screws on the back, standoffs. There we go. Once you get one of those in, everything should be generally okay. You just don't want these to slide out before you get these screws in too. I do find this one a little harder to work on. It's a little more cramped to work on than the 3.5. I haven't done a scale swap yet on a 3-inch. This is my first time, but I did do it on the 3.5 when I did this one, which turned out so well. All right, now just need to carefully get the pivot screw in where it should be. Make sure everything ends up very flush. Make sure there's nothing missing here. Ooh, look at that. Big brother, little brother coming together. Super cool. And if I can just not screw up this last part, we're gonna have a sweet little knife on our hands here. I think the Battle Blue, if I had to guess, would probably be not quite as slick as like a stone-washed one. So if I had to guess, I'll just give these just a little tweak, given what we learned earlier about the freaking T6 hardware. Man, do not want to over tighten that. Sweet. But yeah, I could feel it. Not as drop shut. You know what I might do? I might want to put a little lubricant on that bearing. I'd hate to take it apart again. That was a pain in the butt, but I can really hear it. Let me put this up to the camera. Right, it sort of sounds. Let's see if maybe it's just a little too tight here. Okay. Good lockup. Yep, solid lockup. That's pretty darn good. That's pretty drop shut, which is what you get when you switch these scales. The knives just become a little more drop shut in my experience. Maybe it's just the screw tightness that I have there, but sweet. Nice. These are really sweet little Hinderers. As you've probably seen, I've been on a Hinderer journey in the channel from completely not getting it or liking them to understanding just where to put my fingers when I deploy them, starting to understand and appreciate the drop shuttiness of them, and starting to really understand that if you go put the scales on there, you end up with a really sweet knife that feels totally different than what the knife feels like out of box with G10. That's really the big difference there. So 2 non-flipper working finish blade. Would that be slicer in this case, and spear point on both. I think they would call these. I can call them spear point, but they're really not, right? They're kind of drop point, but anyways. Very cool. Very glad to have caught that one on EKnives on the drop. I do realize I have the hardware doesn't match, so maybe I'd even just switch this one back on the hardware so that they match better, but man, it looks good all murdered out like that. So yeah, neat. If I were to carry a Hinderer, man, I'd probably swap that down here, and this would probably be it. Hard to imagine a better one for carrying than this. And it's just working in now and becoming super drop shut. That's like, it takes a couple times, but that's basically gravity there. All right. Maybe I'll take it apart off camera and throw some lubrication on the bearings or something to just make it that much more smooth. But aside from that, glad to have it. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.